So, I just watched and finished season 1 of Invincible, and that was a pretty crazy show. Definitely lived up to the hype for me. I never heard of the show for a while, but then I started seeing like a certain meme thing popping up everywhere, and then I started seeing a couple other people review it and stuff like that. And like I've done before, these are just kind of casual reviews for the casual viewers, not the ones that kind of like look very in depth into stuff like that. There are a lot better reviewers for that kind of stuff. But this is just my honest opinions of if I enjoyed the show or not, which I very much did. I was very invested throughout the entire series. I was interested to see what happened next, especially after the first episode. Obviously, spoilers for the entire series here. So if you don't want to be spoiled, get the hell out. But yeah, this is a very dark superhero show based off of the comic books from the Invincible comic books. I never read those, and I just recently, like I said, found out about the show, so I decided to sit down and watch it. I watched 2 episodes per day. There were 8 episodes, so I got through it fairly quickly. And after watching the first episode and seeing how that ended with Omni-Man killing the Guardians of the Globe, the pseudo Justice League of the Invincible universe, it was definitely, literally, my jaw dropped. Like, my mouth dropped open when I was watching it. It definitely gave me the same feeling as it did, like, during the ending to some of the first episodes of The Boys, Season 1, which a lot of people are comparing this show to. It's like a dark, adult, like, very gritty superhero show, which, yeah, I can kind of see, especially the similarities between Omni-Man and Homelander, you know, the seemingly good guy that's actually very evil. And I was very interested to see what happened, especially after that first episode, and how this whole, like, Omni-Man killing the Guardians thing was going to, like, branch out. And I could kind of see what the big twist was going to be before the last episode, like, after he killed all the people. And I was thinking about it, like, as the episodes were going on, I was like, what is this whole thing going to be? And I got another clue about it when they were fighting the aliens that, like, age really fast, and Omni-Man flew into their universe, and he said to them, "Earth is not yours to conquer." That was a big clue for me. I was like, oh, so it's his to conquer. And I was, like, thinking about it, I was like, did he kill them because he wants to be the sole savior of the world instead of having the team? Because they do preface it by saying that Omni-Man isn't part of the Guardians of the Globe. He's just kind of the outsider that helps the Guardians of the Globe, if you know what I mean. So that kind of clued me into what's going on. It's like, okay, so he killed the other superheroes so that way he can rule the world by himself and there would be no threats. And then at the end of the series, that's kind of how it turns out. But we're talking too much about Omni-Man here. Let's talk about our main character, Invincible, who ends up getting his powers and then tells his dad about it. They start training. He starts becoming sort of a superhero. He calls himself Invincible, but he's really not that invincible. Like, there are parts in this show where it seems like he's about to die. Like, when he's fighting the big, like, gladiator lion or whatever, and it freaking bashes his stomach open. Like, I was not expecting that. I was expecting the thing to, like, shatter on his stomach and he would be completely fine and he would be invincible. I also do like the running gag of, like, blood always popping up on the title card whenever someone's about to say Invincible. I think his whole arc was very cool. I do like the arc that he has with his dad, where they're kind of like bonding over this stuff and training and stuff like that. And it does make it that much more heartbreaking in like the last and towards the second to last episode, where the whole reveal goes down and we get the big fight between Omni-Man and Invincible. And along the way, we do meet a lot of cool characters. We have the 2 like blue twins, or the clones, that one can't tell if the other is the clone or whatever, or arguing about that. We've got the Teen Team, which I believe is supposed to be a play on the Teen Titans, and we've got Adam Eve, and we've got the new Guardians of the Globe that end up coming about, and all those guys were super cool. I liked all the powers that were shown off in the show. I thought they were like really cool. Even the villains I thought were really awesome for parts of it. And there was a lot of interesting storylines going on. There was the Omni-Man one that I was trying to keep an eye on. There's the Invincible one, and then towards the end you get this storyline with the robot, and the robot ends up making a human body so that way he can be, I guess, girlfriend and boyfriend with Beast Girl, who is a little girl, but it's a 20-something, 30-something year old woman trapped inside a little girl's body who can transform into a monster, and every time she turns into a monster, she gets younger, which is very interesting. It's a very interesting power. Jeez, that would just be a very weird lifestyle to live. A freaking 12-year-old with a mortgage and a pension and stuff like that. But it was all a very awesome presentation of the show. And the ending was that we get the whole reveal of Omni-Man being evil, and he is from a home planet where they basically conquer worlds, and he's here to conquer Earth. And he wants his son Invincible to help him do it. Invincible doesn't want to. They have this big fight, and they kind of have this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 moment where in Guardians 2, Peter Quill's dad says that, like, he had to put the tumor in Peter Quill's mom's head, and in this show, Omni-Man describes Invincible's mom as more like a pet than a wife, which I've seen a lot of people draw comparisons between those two moments, like, he called my mom a pet, or something like that. And then they have the big fight, and you would think that Invincible would win here, you know, he's the good guy, you know. No, he gets his ass kicked, but, I mean, he does last, and at some point, somehow, some way, after the whole, you know, think, that whole meme, Omni-Man gives up, and he just flies off. He shows a little bit of sympathy for his son, and he flies off, and he apparently goes back home. I missed this. I had to go back and rewatch it, but there were people saying that when he flies off, Omni-Man, like, sheds a tear, and it, like, floats through space. I saw that on my screen, but I thought it was a rock. I guess I must have blinked or something at the wrong time. But yeah, I thought it was just like a rock floating past. But the second time viewing it, I was like, oh yeah, he did shed a tear. So yeah, he's probably going back to his home planet. He's going to come back with an armada to take over Earth. And Invincible has recovered in the hospital. And in Season 2, they're obviously setting up all this cool stuff with all the other cool villains and all these other awesome storylines that could possibly happen. And there's a lot of blood in this show. There's a lot of death, which I believe you can probably get away with a lot more in an animated show rather than a regular, like, live-action show like The Boys. Obviously, it takes a lot more money to do CGI probably than it does animation, so you can probably kill off a lot more people. There's literally a moment where they go through an entire freaking subway car, and it's just blood and guts everywhere. A freaking building falls over and, like, some people die. This was very dark stuff to see, and I'm very interested to see what stuff they do for Season 2. The animation was fine. I saw a lot of people kind of complaining that the animation looked a little wonky. I was fine with it, you know, especially for the first season. I'm sure it'll get better later on. A lot of stuff gets better animation later on. Take the Toy Story movies, for example. That was the first one compared to the second one, compared to the third one, compared to the fourth one. All the animations get better and better and better over time. I would say the only thing that really annoyed me about this show was the whole relationship thing. You know, that whole story kind of annoyed me because I was just thinking about it. I was like, who cares? Like, you're a superhero. You shouldn't even be worrying about relationships, especially at the very beginning of your superhero career. Just leave it at that. Just be friends, you know, but don't date. You know, you've got a whole lot of other problems to deal with. But, I mean, it didn't annoy me so bad that it took me out of the show. It just annoyed me a little bit, but not too much, obviously. But yeah, out of the entire show, just one thing slightly annoyed me. I would say that was a very good show. I would treat this show probably like Stranger Things. Like, I've watched it. The hype is now dying down, and I probably won't think about it again until season 2 rolls around, which I believe they're now confirmed for season 2 and season 3. So, yeah, once those come out, I'll definitely be hyped up for it again. But season 1 was pretty darn good. If you haven't checked it out, I would suggest you do, although I don't know why you would watch this if you haven't checked it out, because like I said, there's a ton of spoilers in it. But yeah, I had fun with the show. Thought it was pretty awesome. Yeah, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Who was your favorite character from the entire show? I did like Invincible. Adam Eve was really cool. I did like Robot's whole storyline, as weird as it was. But my two favorite characters obviously have got to be the blue clone people that can't tell each other who's the clone or whatever. I thought those guys were very funny. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of the show, and I'll see you guys later.